Welcome back. Well, good news today if you enjoy a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc or a pot of Manuka honey. They'll soon be cheaper thanks to a free trade deal we've just agreed with New Zealand. It's exactly the sort of deal we were told we could strike if we voted for Brexit. But not everyone's happy. Tariffs on lamb will be phased out over 15 years, which means cheaper goods for consumers, but some British sheep farmers are a little bit fearful of the extra competition. Well, let's make sense of it all now. Joining me is the former Trade Minister of New Zealand, Tim Groser. Tim, thanks for staying up past midnight to talk to us here on GB News. It's a pretty exciting deal, this. To what extent do you think this really speaks to the new free trading, open market vision of a post-Brexit UK?
Well, good morning, good afternoon. I'm not quite sure what time it is in your regime. It's certainly past 1 o'clock and a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. But I want to say I'm beginning to rethink my entire position on Brexit in light of both the Australia-UK deal and the New Zealand-UK deal. Let me first of all declare my self-interest here. I'm actually British. I was born and spent the first 10 years of my life in the UK, brought up in a typical British middle-class family. I would have voted against Brexit, and now I'm beginning to think that might have been the wrong strategic move, because I'm actually very surprised by the ambition of the British government in doing these two deals. Now, I mean, I have a rather complicated message to put to you tonight, or your today. I think actually that Britain has strategically placed itself in a very, very strong position after Brexit in terms of international trade policy. And I think I'm very optimistic about the future of Britain.
And this is, of course, all about not just New Zealand and Australia, important though they are, but the entire Indo-Pacific region. The UK has also signed a bespoke deal with Japan, and this seems to be us inching towards joining that big trade area that encompasses just about all the Pacific Rim countries, the CPTPP.
You've got this 100% correct. And that is the real and rather more subtle meaning of this deal. Frankly, from the British point of view, a free trade deal with New Zealand, I mean, it's positive, it's nice, but in the big British scheme of things, frankly, it's neither here nor there. The bigger message is exactly what you have said, is that it positions the Britain, which is not, as the anti-Brexit people said, just some small island country, irrelevant to the world. It is the 6th largest economy in the world. I would argue it's the 4th largest country in terms of projecting military power externally in the world. This is not a small country we are talking about. And I think that these two deals put together strategically positions an independent UK in exactly the right place to construct deals not just with Japan, the other major power in this agreement you've just referred to, but a rather larger and darker question about where the hell is the United States in all of this?
So potentially the United Kingdom joining this new area could coax the US into it as well, and potentially land us that big prize of a trade deal with the largest economy in the world.
That is exactly my view. I've written an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal on exactly the point you're making, sir, on this only last week. I think the United States is in a very, very confused situation as a result of Donald Trump's ludicrous decision to withdraw from this TPP agreement, leaving New Zealand as the secretariat of the deal, high and dry, along with the more important countries like Australia and Japan.
Yeah.
And I think this issue is absolutely under political consideration in the United States. So I don't think
fascinating because it is bizarre that Donald Trump withdrew from this deal on the basis that it could help China when the deal was explicitly constructed to keep out China from this region and create a counterbalance there. But I do want to move on. We don't have that much long left in this interview, and I do want to ask about the agricultural concerns that there are from some sectors in the United Kingdom. You chaired the WTO's agricultural Agriculture Committee
Correct.
for a number of years. And do you understand, do you empathise with the farmers here who are now fearful for extra competition for cheaper goods?
Well, I empathise with them, but I totally support the British government's position in going for very, very slow, very, very long-term free trade. Because the worst of all deals from Brexit would have been to remove the benefits of Britain's membership of the EU and give Britain a pale imitation of the EU trade policy strategy. So I think the British government has done absolutely the right thing, which is why I am rethinking my original, largely theoretical position of voting against Brexit. I think Brexit might make sense.
Brexit could indeed be that big liberalising impetus, not just to UK trade, but potentially to the world trading order. Let's hope that those big deals can be those jolts needed by those big powers like the United States. Maybe we can kickstart something really quite exciting again in global affairs. Well, Tim Groser, thank you
Absolutely, my view.
for joining us this afternoon for us, late at night for you. It's been a fascinating discussion and we really appreciate your time here on GB News.